As voters weigh up their choice for the White House, many are also deciding who will control Congress. Right now, Republicans have a very slim majority in the House of Representatives, while in the Senate, Democrats hold an even smaller majority of 51 to 49. That leaves very little room for losses in this election for both sides. And tomorrow, control of the upper chamber will likely come down to just a handful of key races in these states. Joining us now for more on this is CBS News correspondent Jared Hill. Jared, help us understand some of the key races for the Senate, because there's a lot on the line this election.
Yeah, that's right, Errol. So one of the big things with the Senate is that Democrats are almost certain to lose one of those seats, and that's going to be in West Virginia with Joe Manchin stepping down. And so they're trying to hold on to as many others as they can and maybe pick something up, although that might be a bit of a long shot. Let's talk about what they're looking at holding on to. Two of those races that are really going to be crucial here are Ohio and Montana. These are two states that are red states with Democratic senators, and so they're going to be relying on Republican voters, Trump voters, to split their ticket likely in order to keep Democrats in power in those places. These oftentimes are folks who are accustomed to splitting their ticket, who are also used to having that sort of balance of power in Congress and in the Senate. The question will be if that happens this time around as well. It looks likely, although the polls are close, and so something to watch for. Another race that we're watching here is going to be in Texas, right? We've heard over the past couple of election cycles that this might be the year that Texas turns blue. That's something that Democrats have been saying. Hasn't happened quite yet, but there is, again, another opportunity where you have Republican Ted Cruz going up against Democrat Colin Allred in a race that at this point, Cruz is still leading, but again, the margin has been getting closer and closer. We also know that Cruz has been trailing former President Trump in this state, and that Allred has a lot of money to do some groundwork with his campaign, as well as some of the advertising. And then another race here that we're watching is out of Nebraska, and this is one where Deb Fischer is going up against an independent here, Dan Osborne. And he's someone who is a former labor guy, a union leader in that state. He also is leaning, it seems to be, in support of things like abortion rights, although he hasn't said who he would caucus with. Again, he's got a decent amount of money, and he has gotten support from independents as well as Democrats in Nebraska. Again, a question is going to be if Democrats can pick that up and expand any kind of lead that they have in the Senate.
Really interesting races there. And what about in the House? What should we be watching out for?
Yeah, so the House, again, that's another tight one, and this is a state or a place where there are about 30 or so races that we are watching pretty closely. Just about 10% of all of the House races that are up. One big region is going to be within New York. This is a part of the country that got hit by a red wave a couple of years ago, especially with some redistricting. There are a number of races in that region that could dictate control of Congress. And then another one to watch out for is in Wisconsin's 3rd district. But again, the question is going to be if on election night voters decide to make a shift come election day. Back to you.
Jared Hill, thank you very much.
Thanks.